Welcome, brave adventurers and fellow gamers, to this enchanting analysis of Baldur's Gate 3. Today, we are diving into the magical realm brought to us by the masterminds at Larian Studios, hailing all the way from Belgium. These wizards conjured their very first game back in 2002, a humble offering named Divine Divinity. Clearly, they were influenced by the ancient scrolls of the original Baldur's Gate and the mystical nights of Neverwinter by the enchanters at BioWare. But hold your magical horses, because just like a novice mage, Larian's journey started small. While their debut creation was warmly embraced, it wasn't exactly a seismic shift in the gaming cosmos. However, Larian made no secret of their intentions, and their core essence was already evident. They continue to cast spells, creating games that progressively refine their initial formula, always utilizing their own crafted universe. They summon Beyond Divinity and Divinity 2. Yet, it wasn't until Divinity Original Sin arrived that the studio truly channeled their ambitions. Oh, but it was Divinity Original Sin 2 that raised them to the pantheon of classic CRPG studios. They emerged like a phoenix, shedding the niche cocoon and metamorphosing into a powerhouse to be reckoned with. And lo, the very wizards of the coast approached Larian and recognized their arcane prowess, beseeching them to conjure the game we now stand before, Baldur's Gate 3. And let me tell you, dear viewers, in this magical scroll of a video, we shall focus exclusively on the technical and artistic aspect of the game. Another scroll shall unveil the mysteries of its performance. But let's for a second spare a thought for the brave game reviewer who must attempt to encapsulate the essence of this epic. For if deciphering the technical wizardry proves a challenging spell for me, I can only imagine the arduousness of analyzing the game in its entirety. But pray, let me explain the enigma behind my struggle to dissect Baldur's Gate 3 from a technical standpoint. It's like deciphering ancient runes. This game is not mere ordinary enchantment. You see, when I analyze a game, I usually consider its genre and purpose. Is it a AAA behemoth, a charming indie sprite, or perhaps a pixelated masterpiece? In this particular case, nailing down Baldur's Gate 3 essence is like trying to catch a will-o'-the-wisp. Evaluating a game like Diablo is an entirely different incantation compared to appraising the likes of Spider-Man 2, for instance. As I mentioned before, this game is a CRPG with an isometric view, and if we gaze upon those, it stands as one of the most visually ambitious games in its realm, not only in terms of graphics but also in its gameplay prowess. Its vistas are breathtaking, a feast for the senses, an exquisite tapestry of diverse settings. Colors and light effects dazzle the eye, creating mesmerizing dance. Volumetric light intertwines with the surroundings, painting each room with a vivid palette. And the reflections in the water are so expertly crafted you may be tempted to take a magical plunge. Textures exhibit an array of variety and splendid quality. Characters are intricately detailed, especially considering the viewing distance in which we usually partake in our adventures. Yet, alas, here's where the enchantment stumbles a bit. While the game ambitiously defines its genre norms and gameplay conventions, this power also reveals cracks in the spell. The game invites dramatic camera angles, allowing for intimate character close-up that truly amaze. But this freedom also exposes some chinks in the armor, flaws that may otherwise go unnoticed in a different kind of enchantment. Characters, despite their meticulous crafting, suffer from flat texture at times, and there, yes, I have witnessed characters floating like magical specters, seemingly untethered from the world's fabric. The enchanting glow of the game's illumination is at times marred by a rather boxy shadow. Distance and objects popping into view also break the immersion spell. And now, after immersing myself in this enchanted world for a good 15 hours, I must admit that the spells I've cast thus far haven't been as visually captivating as I hoped. Though who's to say if the magical spectacle will evolve as the game unfolds. Now, let's not cast these critiques in a light to dampen the magical aura. Here comes the question. Are these critiques truly valid? I mean, don't get me wrong, it's perfectly fine to identify these flaws and limitations, but when a game has a certain style of play and a specific visual goal, can we really compare it to something like The Last of Us? What Larian has conjured here is nothing short of a miraculous feat. They summon an enormous, unpredictable open-world game where the freedom to tackle myriad of quests in countless ways knows no bounds. And that's why I find myself torn, dear viewers. How do I even evaluate such tapestry of wonder? But I'm sure you're eager for my verdict, one way or another, so let me reveal this. For me, Baldur's Gate 3 is a visual spectacle. It's a breathtaking beauty that flawlessly blends the elements. Those nagging negative, they are but minor blemishes, tiny specks in a grand mosaic of digital artistry. I presented you with the facts, as objective as a spell can be, for you to assess whether Baldur's Gate 3 is indeed a visual masterpiece transcending its very genre. Lastly, in a nutshell though, a more detailed analysis of performance lies in the next scroll. Let me conjure a brief thought. The game, from my first impressions, looked like a finely tuned spell, which brings me to my only lament or point of darkness, is why, oh why, did they not weave the spell of ray tracing into the game? Reflections, shadows, or even both. It's a power that could have magnified this enchantment immensely, without relinquishing its performance potency. And there you have it, dear companions, my concise yet elaborate visual analysis of Baldur's Gate 3. A game that's poised to rewrite history, not through one specific aspect, but through the symphony of its power, transforming the gaming realm forever. I hope this magical journey has delighted you. If so, grant me a like, share the enchantment, subscribe for more arcane content, and as always, I'll meet you in the next Scrolls of Wonder. Until then, may your magical dice always roll in your favor.